All right. I'm so glad you guys all joined. We might have a few more people call in, but we're gonna get started. So I know we're kind of like joining forces and there's new people on the call. I know some of you guys met at Summit, I believe, maybe Morgan and Jesse. Okay, and Korean, of course. But can we start with some introductions? Maybe share whatever feels right to you. I'll start. So my name's Abby and so Corinne and I have the same coach and we've always kind of talked and helped each other out, and now we're kind of joining forces again and I think it's going to be awesome. I have been coaching, so I've been doing Beachbody since like 2010, and then the launch of 80-Day Obsession, so like 2018, I really was like, I'm gonna go all in with my business, and kind of never stopped since then. And I just had my daughter. She is almost 6 weeks old, and my husband is deployed, and I have a husky, and I just started doing 4 weeks for everybody postpartum, and we're just making it work. So it's awesome. And that's me right now. I can go in order with the screen I see. Celia, do you want to go next?
Hi, I'm Celia. Started the Beachbody back in July of last year. Didn't really get serious until January of this year. Started with Bar Blend, and then I moved into kind of all the new program launches throughout the year. I recently have found my newfound love of lifting. I'm on round 2 of Lift 4, planning on lift more in the spring. I live in northeastern Pennsylvania, near the Scranton area. Yes, where The Office was filmed or based with. Yes, I know. I currently live with my parents, and I'm kind of just trying to figure out life right now. Just trying to move back home and see what's ready for me. So I'm excited and just love to be here.
Thank you. Oh, and I didn't say that was a good point. I'm in North Carolina right now. All right. Holly?
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm originally from upstate New York. I live in Florida now though, Bradenton, Florida. I moved here about 6 years ago. I started Beachbody in August of 2020. After I had my daughter. She is 3 now. And I lost about 70 pounds when I first started. I kind of took a break and gained like 20-30 pounds of that back. And then I just recently started again. I did the 21-day fix. And then I'm doing the Lift More program right now, which I freaking love. Corinne recommended it to me. She's actually my coach. I just signed up under her. So this is like my second week, but yeah, I am really enjoying this program, and I just started using some of the products, and like I was nervous about using the Energize because I like don't do well with caffeine or anything like that. And it is amazing. It is like no jitters. Like I just have energy, and I've never had anything make me feel like that before. So I'm excited to like try other stuff. And I was working on my coming out post before this. I'm going to post that either tonight or tomorrow. So I'm excited, and I look forward to doing this with you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. And congrats. I'm glad you're back into it and
Thank you.
Feeling good. That's awesome. And I'm sorry we didn't do introductions last week on the call.
Oh, it's okay.
Becky was so kind to be like, we should do that. I'm like, oh yes, we really should. And then we'll feel like we know each other better.
And Abby, I'll just jump right in with that, because I was going to say, this is why we do introductions, to see where we all have connections in all the different places. So I'm originally from New Jersey. I'll just chime in. Heather is also she's originally from upstate New York as well. We both live in Florida and are very close to you. So you're in Bradenton,
Yep.
and we are in like Pinellas County. So over the bridge a little bit, but not far in the grand scheme of like everybody being spread out. And then, yeah, I have a Disney annual pass. So I go to Disney about every 2 weeks. I was just there today. I took off of work to go spend some time with some family that was spent doing a Disney trip. So I was like, yeah, I'll come up for the day. So yes, that is awesome. And we are close. And I'm sure you and Heather can connect more on being from upstate New York. She just did a little trip up there this summer. But
You guys
Nice.
could go to super weekends together.
we totally could. And there are like multiple around here. There's one in Tampa every year or every like time. And then there's one in Orlando. So sometimes I'm like, man, I'm at Disney and I can just like hop over. And then there's also one in Miami, which is far, but the
Like get to go to
cool
Miami.
super trainers. And yeah, it's like seems like it's worth it. And I'm like, man, maybe I'll drive to Miami. But
You
no,
get the
absolutely.
best super trainers.
Yeah.
Miami does.
Yeah.
That's cool. So like I didn't really know about that. Well, I mean I've just kind of seen it, but like you just go and work out there for the weekend with the super trainers and learn some stuff, or
So it is one of our quarterly events. So there's 4. So like we just had Summit, which you just missed, which you can come next year. It's in Texas, in San Antonio. So we're already like
Oh.
planning that. So like there's 3 others throughout the year. So there was one just in August, which I felt like was too close to Summit. It was literally like the next month. So like like I'm on the council for Cincinnati's in Ohio. I kind of like leaned myself in and kind of like was like, I'm gonna help. And the last event was at a brewery. So we did like a meet and greet, but typically they will provide you with information from corporate. And there's usually a workout. There's not always super trainers. It depends on the number. And they're actually harder to get a super trainer than it is not to have one. So like I volunteered to like teach a class, like teach a workout, which anybody can do it. You just have to be like, hey, I'll do the live workout. And then they give us information of like new products coming out. So the next one is November 5th through the 8th.
okay.
It's not right.
That's Run Disney weekend, so I will be running a half marathon and a 10K around Disney World. So I will skip that one too, unfortunately.
It's the 4th through the 6th. So it's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, so I just planned ours today. I picked a venue. Ours is Saturday morning, the 5th. So there are always options. So make sure like you can check with me, you can talk to Becky, you can talk to Heather and see if
Okay.
there's one nearby. They're definitely worth going to. It's great to connect with other coaches because they're doing the same thing as you. And it's just fun to meet new people. And you get to hear about new product launches and programs coming out before anybody else. So
Okay, cool.
it's fun to be a part of. And like,
Yeah.
it's fun to be in that type of setting in real life rather than on Zoom. So I can just speak from going to, that was my 3rd summit I went to, and you just leave and you're just like, it was awesome. And I feel like that every time I like go and do one of these little super weekends. So we can talk more about that because we haven't talked about that yet.
Okay.
I just went to my first super weekend in August. I went to Philly. I worked out with Joel. It honestly was freaking amazing. I came out of it almost in tears just because I was like so fulfilled and ready to like come back and do things. And it was just so fun. Like it was something that I finally did for myself. And I'm going back in November. I'm ready. It's on my calendar. I know I'm going. I'm not even gonna say no anymore. It's just like I'm coming. So it if you can go to one, get your butt there. It's definitely worth it. And I can't wait for the rest of the week.
Awesome. So yes, all of that, we definitely need to connect more. And just to wrap up me, I started doing Beachbody workouts when I bought my house, and I realized I was spending so much time outside of my house. I was working and then going to the gym, and I was just like sleeping at my home, and I didn't want that. So finally decided to do at-home workouts, fell in love with them immediately, got way more results than I ever did in the gym, and then started coaching last summer, May of 2021. But for me, like, things really took off for the 645 launch, and then I just haven't stopped since. So I'm growing my team, growing coaches underneath me. This month I have a coach mentorship going on where I have a few coaches that I onboarded, and they're off and running, and I love it. So yeah, just that is me, and I'm here to help in any way I can.
Abby, do you want me to go now?
Yes, I
Okay.
guess I feel like everyone's screen looks the same if you're all going in this order. That makes sense to me.
Well,
But I
Jesse's
thought we
after
were all
Becky,
screen.
but I think
Yeah, go ahead.
skipped myself. I'm Kareen. I am the coach of Peed, Peace, and Persistence. So, like I said, I've said this before, Abby and I are like sister coaches. I've been in the business of Beachbody for longer than I'd like to say because I haven't done much with my business, but that's okay. I've been a coach for 7 years. It'll be in March. So, or it might be 8. I joined in 2015. I can't do that math right now. And I didn't know what I was doing at first. I signed up for the discount. I wanted to try Shakeology. I hated it because I only drank half a scoop a day. And the guy, my coach, my girlfriend that signed me up is my best friend from college, and she was like, "You have to do a full scoop." And I was like, "It's expensive though. Like I can't pay for this every month." And I was a personal trainer at the time, and I said I won't do these at home workouts either. I have a gym to go to, which I spent 2 hours a day at and didn't see any results. Like, and I was like, I'm in shape. I was never in shape. I thought I was eating healthy. So going to Beachbody for a discount. I'm here still now as a coach, helping people every single day. I will say one thing is I was fired from a job right after my honeymoon, got home from my honeymoon, went to work that day, was let go from my job, and had a freak out. And I was like, literally just got married, bought a house. What are we going to do? And I was like, I have Beachbody, and I used Beachbody for 2 months, and it helped pay for things. So I will say that it helped me from going to a dark place. I got a new job, and now I'm actually in a new role of my job where I'm working in normal hours like normal people do. And it's been a struggle to kind of fit this business in, but I'm not making excuses because I'm being intentional with my time. So I'm glad I can talk on that aspect, because before I was like, oh, I have like 4 hours every day I can do Beachbody. Now I have like a lunch that's 45 minutes. So I'm trying to be better. I will say I've been slacking, but I'm like trying to give myself grace and not getting too upset or stressed out about it, because it's your business. You make your own hours. So I'm glad that Abby and I could connect with our teams, because we've been struggling a little bit showing up on our calls, and I was hoping having more people would be good to collaborate with a bigger group. And this is what other teams do anyways. They have all their entire big team on calls. So I'm excited. I'm tired, but I'm here and I'm happy to see all your faces. And if you guys need anything, I've been here for a minute, so I kind of know a little bit. So
Thank you. Hopefully you adjust and it's going well. I know change is hard. Jesse?
Sorry, pushed my video instead of on mute. Anyway, my name is Jessie. I'm originally from Pennsylvania. I now live in California, thanks to being with Military Man, and moved us across the country. So that was great. I joined Beachbody in 2019, and I started coaching about like a month after like starting, just for like the discounts mainly, because I had no idea what coaching really was. But I was like, I like these products. I'm probably going to start using them. If I can get a discount, let's just do that. Yeah, I have, just more about me in general. I have 2 dogs, a husky and a German shepherd. I am pregnant with my first baby boy, due 4 days after Kareen. in December. So we have baby twins almost. And yeah, I don't know what else to say.
That's perfect. Thanks. Kara?
Sorry, trying to figure out how to mute myself or unmute myself. So my name's Kara. I started with Beachbody probably 2019, just signed up on my own because I didn't want to drive to the gym and waste time after I got to work. I was like, well, I can get my workout done in the time that I can drive to the gym. And it's cheaper than gym membership. So that's why I started initially, was totally doing it halfway. And then I started coaching March of this year because my stepmom had a battle with brain cancer the last 10 months, and she lost her battle in February of this year. So the 10 months that my family went through her diagnosis and everything with that, I was in a really dark place, and I literally didn't do anything for myself. I didn't eat well. I didn't move. I didn't, so I needed Beachbody to get me out of that funk before I just could feel myself kind of spiraling. And I just asked Abby I said, so what's this coaching thing? Because I knew I had to go all in and make it so it was harder for me to quit on myself, because I knew that I would, because that was the easier option at that point. So I really got into coaching for accountability for myself, for grief. And then a couple months ago, 2 months ago, I lost my 14-year-old cousin, was killed. So once again, I kind of went into like a dark place with that heavy grief again. But I was happy to have Beachbody and this team here that kept me accountable, even though I kind of went silent because I was just like processing. So that's really what this has been for me. I have a couple people on my team, but at this point, I'm just trying to keep my head above water, and I'm using my coaching as an accountability thing for myself. So it's definitely been life-changing, because I know that I would not be in the mental or physical state that I am with the past year that I've had without this team and without Beachbody and all that. So yeah, about me personally, I live in central Pennsylvania. I work at our local hospital as a development officer. I'm married to a state trooper. So my last name on Facebook and social media is not my actual last name. That's my middle name. So my actual last name is Hodges, but we keep everything very private because of his job. We have a Pomeranian, and yeah, big Penn State fan. So I know me and Celia connect over that. We always message during the games. So yeah, I think that's all.
Thank you for sharing all that. Heather?
Hi, I'm Heather. I started as a challenger almost 1 year ago. I started with 645. Becky inspired me. Then, and it really was life changing. And then I became a coach, I think it was March or April, for several different reasons. Number one, also accountability. I just wanted to keep myself accountable. Number two, Becky was like, you're already doing this, this, and this. Why don't you coach? And number three, I like the idea of helping people. And it's just been good for me for a lot of reasons. Oh, did I say where I'm from? No.
I said it for you.
Upstate. You did. I grew up in Schoharie County, which is just a little west of Albany. And I've been in Florida, God, over 10 years now.
Thank you. Morgan?
Hi, I'm Morgan. Sorry, I'm trying to stay awake right now. I am an athletic trainer. I actually do what Corinne does. So I work in a clinical setting with orthopedics and spine, a lot of spine. I am also dating a cop, and we have 2 dogs, and we just got a house this summer. The reason I finally kind of gave in, aside from Kareem really pushing, not in a bad way, but in the right ways. My family overall has a history of obesity and diabetes and heart failure and cholesterol and just stuff that I just don't want to deal with personally because I've seen it affect my family the way it does. And then, of course, body image itself too was a big part. I wasn't happy at 120 pounds, and I'm now 200 pounds, and I'm still trying to find what I'm comfortable in. I think Beachbody really gives that opportunity for all body types to do this. There's not a set in stone like one person you have to do that workout all the time. Like just bring your body. That's what I'm doing right now, and I'm loving it. It's awesome. It's a different trainer every day too, so that's fun. You're not dealing with the same person every day. But I like the setup, and it's just body weight. There's no excuse not to do it. You don't need weights. You don't need a bench. You don't need anything. Just bring your body and go. So one of the main reasons why I decided to coach was to show people that no matter how chaotic your life is, you cannot put yourself on the back burner. It just cannot happen. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Thank you. And Katie.
So Katie can't talk because she's dealing with 2-year-old tantrums.
She did send it in the chat though, it looks
Yeah.
like.
So she said, I'm Katie, I'm 35 and a mom of a 2-year-old who is not happy taking a bath. I am originally from UP of Michigan. I don't know what UP is. UP of Michigan, but live now an hour south of Chicago. She's an industrial athletic trainer. Half of my team are athletic trainers, guys. I clearly have a niche. For Briotex Health, and my client is Costco. So she works in like a plant, which her hours are crazy. Sometimes she goes in at like 5 a.m. Sometimes she's there till 10 p.m. So she started Beachbody coaching in July of 2020, and I used to work out at the gym, and Beachbody has changed my life from I don't know what she's trying to say here. Easy text from Korea Instagram. She's changed her life because of me from Instagram. I'm never going back to the gym, currently finishing Lift More, and she loves it. I also didn't say where I was from. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I have a 2.5-year-old and pregnant with my second. So just to add that in. But some of the other girls on our team are not on. Megan is another girl that girls that went to Summit met. So Bessie knows who she is. She's also from Rochester, New York. I'm also from Rochester, New York. So there's a lot of New York people on here, which is fun. So, but half of us don't live in New York anymore, but still fun fact, how you can connect with people.
Upper Peninsula. Huh. Awesome. Thank you. All right. I think that was great. Let's dive in, and you guys can always connect more, follow each other, all that fun stuff. So today, we don't want to keep you too late, but we wanted to talk about follow-ups. And I know it's a part of the tracker. It's something where, if you are familiar with the tracker, it works like a wheel. It's something where you can't just do one step and not the others. It's going to be broken. So we make new connections. We build those relationships. We invite people. We follow up. We get them started. We invite them to the coaching opportunity. But if you never make those new connections, you're going to have no one to invite. If you make new connections and never invite, you're not going to have anyone to follow up with. So we're going to specifically talk about follow-ups today. And it is honestly the key to your business. And it's probably the most, I don't have a better word, but annoying thing to do every month. Like, I know I sit there and it's like, oh, I feel like I have these lists and I'm going to literally knock out all these follow-ups. But once I do it, I feel amazing and like it was so worth it. So we're gonna go into just some tips and tricks and how we do it, and just some like things to think about of why it is so important in our business. So I was thinking about this today, and if you, maybe you just moved, maybe you're trying to meet new friends, maybe you're in a new state, whatever it is. And just like you would in any situation, you're meeting a new friend. Hey, do you want to go to coffee? Okay, where do you want to go? What time? All that stuff, right? You're making a plan, you're talking. And then me, because I'm that person, the day before or that day, I'll be like, hey, I can't wait to see you at this place at this time. That is a follow-up. And it's funny to me because it's like you hang out with them, maybe you have coffee, maybe you hit it off, and then you're like, hey, would you want to hang out again? Like, that's a follow-up. And I think we like overthink the fact that like it's not always going to be a good time. She could say, no, I can't do next week on Tuesday, but I can do next week on Thursday. So someone can say, hey, I can't do this month, but maybe another month I can do. And I was just thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, it's a very common thing that we overthink and get scared of and don't take action with. And it is something that is key to our business. And I'm going to say something short and sweet and then let Becky jump in because she has a good story. But sometimes it takes people like over 10 times to say yes to us. And maybe it's not the right time. Maybe they're just not in the mood. It's a different season of life, whatever it is. Maybe they're watching you and you don't know it, or they're not saying anything and they're ghosting you and they're saying no. And you're like, what the heck? I know I can help you. And then you post something and it connects with them. And that is when it just is like this aha moment for people. You won't know it. It just happens. And I've had so many people where they just come around and it's like, I feel like a broken record. And I'm like, hey, I just don't want you to think I forgot about you. I know you said it wasn't a good time, but you were interested in getting started. Is this a better month? And they say yes. So rather than getting discouraged, all I want to say is make that follow-up list. Have tracking that says, hey, here's all my not right nows, so you can follow up with them each and every month. And it's okay if it takes them 10 times to finally say yes. But the fact is, you didn't give up on them. So I know Becky has some good examples of that.
Yes. And it was just a realization that I had this week when I signed on 2 coaches that I'm mentoring right now. And I looked and I was like, how did I start talking to these people? And I scrolled back in my DMs on Instagram to look at our initial conversations for the 2 new coaches. Both of them, I initially started connecting with them in November of last year. And since November of last year, we have been connecting. I've been showing up, truly engaging in their content because I enjoy it. One person is a huge Disney person, so love everything she posts and connect on those levels. The other one is a life coach and amazing. But so true connections, but intertwining in that they both had Beachbody already, so shifting to me as their coach and then them joining as coaches. But it took an entire year of follow-up. So if any point I would have just stopped connecting with those people because they said, no, not right now, now is not a good time, then that would have been lost for all of us. They're super excited to be on our team. And literally one of them said that I am giving, like, this business is giving her purpose again. So it's not a sleazy thing that we're doing. We're literally giving people purpose, but just checking in and reminding them, because we know how crazy our lives are and how many things we're bombarded with. So don't put it on them to follow back up with you, but knowing that it's our job to connect back and reach back out. and having those real life examples that both of them was a year of checking in and following up. And the way I know Abby literally writes it down, and I wish I could be that meticulous about it because I'm sure I'm missing people. But the way that I do it is I flag in the DMs in Instagram, and then I go back and I look at my flagged people and connect with them. The caveat to that is it only shows you people that you've flagged within the last 30 days. So again, I know I'm missing people, but at least those ones I say, oh, because I'm at a point now where I'm following and engaging with 20 to 25 people a day. And it's easy to lose track of those, but making sure I'm flagging the ones. And then I do sometimes when I'm really focused, I will go and scroll back through my conversations and look and see where my connections are. Even just today, I had someone that said, oh no, I've done Beachbody in the past and that wasn't for me. I said, when was the last time you did it? Oh, 2017. A lot has changed since 2017. Let me tell you about it. And so not just taking the like, oh no, I've done Beachbody. And now this person's like, wow, thank you. Let me think on that. And my response was, okay, can I check in with you in a week or so to see? Or I did not give her a week. I said, let me know, like I'll check in tomorrow and see where we're at. But continuing those conversations and not just letting things slide because you never know who and when you're going to help somebody.
Yes, and to that point, it's like, if they say no, we're not right now, you can say, can I follow up next month? Or just ask the question so you don't feel like, most people say yes, by the way, to follow up. They're like, yeah, whatever. Then when you follow up the next month, you're like, hey, is this better timing for you? And a thing I always do that really helps, at least helps me feel like it's personalized, is obviously I don't remember everything. So scroll back in the messages, look at what you talked about, look at what their goals were, look at what they told you and say, hey, I know last time we talked last month, you had big goals. You wanted to focus in on nutrition, have more energy to play with your kids, and lose 5 pounds. Is now a better timing for you? I know you said I could follow up with you, or just like bring up part of what you talked about so it doesn't feel like a copy paste. Like bring up their examples, bring up their goals so it hits them in the heart. And then also bring up like, hey, you said money was tight. We have a really good deal going on. It's a $20 off promo. Do you think this is a better time for you? Like really relate it to them and don't just do like a slap of a message that doesn't really feel genuine. I find that really helps. I'll let Corinne jump in if she has anything to say.
I do stress this with like my girls as well, is the follow-up is key, and that's how you kind of lose a lot of people. And I will say I never used to follow up, and then I lost a bunch of people because I didn't follow up, and then I'd follow up and they were like, you know what, I already joined with somebody else. I'm like, great, okay. So if you're not presenting this opportunity and this gift to them, they'll probably join somebody else that is probably going to follow up with them. And you can follow up with someone like for an entire year. And I've done that. I actually just told them a story of a girl. It's one of my challengers. She's actually down 20 pounds. Like I'm doing Beachbody in the last month, 2 months. I followed up with her literally for 6 months, like after she had her daughter, and she ghosted me. She didn't even answer me. And then one night I'm at a football game, I'm working, and I messaged her that morning. She never responded. She texted me. She's like, okay, I need to know the price on this. I need to do something for myself. And I was like, what? And that doesn't happen often. You usually need to send like a message, but I was like, and her and I've been hanging out. We've been doing play dates and stuff. So it's fun. I'm trying to get her into coaching, which she is interested. But you know, I mean, Holly could probably tell you I followed up with her a ton and she didn't answer. And I was like, she's not interested. That's fine. And she asked about coaching. And I was like, oh, this is so exciting. then she never answered. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, it's fine. All right. Morgan is the same way, and Katie. Like, I'm not hounding people. I'm just, each month, if you don't answer, I'm gonna just ask you again. And maybe I'll have a $20 off coupon code to give you, or maybe I have some new workout program for you to try. But until someone is literally like, stop messaging me, I'm gonna message you. And Danielle Matoni literally talks about this as well with follow-ups, because that's where I got it from. She's like, until someone tells me to like basically F off, that's what she said, I will ask them to join me every single month. So it is scary, but if you're making connections with people, like you can talk about like your kids, or if you're watching their stories, you connect with them on like, oh, you just watched that movie, was it good? And if you guys start talking, you can kind of somewhat retract the conversation back to, hey, I know we talked last spring about, my wellness community. I'm actually running another group this month or next month. Would you like more information on it? So Katie is messaging in the chat. She said, biggest thing I do to find a common thing is to talk about is Beachbody, or anything. I have an employee that is doing Beachbody doesn't really have a coach. So her and I have had conversations. They've talked about Beachbody multiple times. They don't have a coach. So that's another thing, is like a lot of people have heard of Beachbody, and just like Becky, like people are like, no, I've been doing Beachbody, like I've done it, it's not my thing. And it's changed, because I had someone say, I've tried the shakes. And I said, can I just ask when? Because if it's in 2015, they were not good back then. Their formula has changed, the flavors have changed. So, I mean, it's ever changing. And that's what this, this community is about, is that things are changing. So the old school Beachbody, like, oh, I have the 21-day fix workouts. I'm like, you have the DVDs? Well, yeah. I'm like, so have you tried like anything else? No, I don't really like it. I was like, we have like 1,800 workouts. Like we can find something. Tell me what you like. So following up is going to be like how you're going to build your business. If you're inviting and you're not following up with that person is gone. They already joined somebody else. So just think of it that way. If you're not asking, somebody else is asking. So until they tell you no, it's your right to ask. If they're watching your stuff, if they're liking your stuff, they got FOMO. They want to do it eventually.
One thing, sorry, Abby.
No, go ahead.
One thing that has really helped shift my mindset was when I heard it was some speaker, I think it was a national wake up call somewhere, but she said that she doesn't think of it as ghosting. And shifting that narrative has really helped me. She actually said like she didn't know the terminology ghosting and what that meant. And when someone didn't reply to her, her immediate assumption is, are they okay? Is something going on in their life? They must be busy. I'll check in with them another time. But it's never, oh, they ghosted me because they don't like what I'm saying. But it's how can I show up for this person? Are they okay? Do they need anything? Their world must be crazy right now. So shifting that perspective has super helped me in being okay with not getting immediate responses from people.
Also, people might open your message. This is like a lot of coaches talk about this, and it makes me feel better about that follow-up. Like I open messages at the grocery store, and if I don't reply, oh, that message is probably gone because I've already forgotten about it. Especially if like you're a mom and you're chasing a toddler around and you're like, oh man, I opened this message. I want to read that, but I don't have a second. So like give it that way. Maybe they're just busy and they've opened it, but they didn't reply. I am like the queen of that with text messages now. And I'm like, this is a mom thing, I think. I don't know. But just kind of reassure yourself, like they're probably just busy. Like they're not really trying to ghost you. They might be ghosting you, which when people invite me to something I'm not interested in, I do send a message back because you're on the other end of that as well. And you're like, hey, actually I'm good right now, but thanks. But yes, people are just busy. They might just open it when they're at the grocery store and they just forget to message you back. That's why I follow up is good. Because I've gotten that before. They're like, oh my God, I totally forgot. I thought I sent this message back. I feel like Holly might have sent that to me. I don't know.
Yeah, and also like some people will ghost you because they don't know what to say. Like they're almost embarrassed or like they don't want to open up or be vulnerable. So I think it's just if you're passionate and know that what we have could help them, or, I mean, you know, it's changed your life. So if you invite with that mindset versus like, oh, I just need someone to help me hit Success Club, like, it shouldn't feel icky to ever follow up with anyone. And to what Katie said, it's really nice. And I think, Becky, you kind of mentioned this. Have conversations, maybe it was Korean, sorry, I can't remember. Have conversations with them in between following up with them. Like, I feel like it feels less icky if you don't have like message after message after message. If they're active on their social media, comment on their stuff, say stuff about their story if it's relatable. Sometimes I literally just say like, hey, I was thinking about you. How's this month treating you? Or whatever, like check in on them. And I don't know, I think it just builds a relationship. So hopefully that makes you feel a little better about follow-ups. What I do, and I know Becky kind of went into what she does, I write down, and it could be in the notes in your phone, it could be in an Excel sheet, it can be on a piece of paper, each month, people who are interested. And I have different groups of lists. So one is people that literally I have any conversation. Sorry, I always make that go up. That always, my first list is the one that says like, hey, I had a conversation with these people. It's people who I have spoken to. I could potentially invite them one day. I have other lists in the notes of my phone, broken down by months. This is my follow-up list of people who said, yes, I'm interested. Yes, I'm interested. And then maybe they never got started, but I sent them a share card or we talked the details and they just never got started. So I have that list too. So every single month, and kind of like the calendar of our marketing, it's like invite to the challenge group the first half of the month and then the coaching the second half. It's not a clean cut, but whatever. That first week or two of a new month, I'm inviting all those people from the past. And I've been coaching a while, so that's a lot of people. And sometimes I'll like, one day I'm like, follow up with April people, follow up with May people. So it's not overwhelming. But I can go back for years of people that were interested, and you just change the message up. Hey, it's been a while since we talked. How are you? Would this interest you this month? Maybe you haven't talked to them for a year, but I have those lists and I literally can't remember any of these people, but I just go to my list. And if I said, hey, I'm going to commit to 10 invites or 10 follow-ups, an invite can be a person you haven't talked to in a long time that is technically a follow-up. And those people that haven't, like my first list I talked about, sorry if I'm talking in circles, my brain doesn't work very well, it seems like. That first list I talked about, they never said they were interested, but I can say, hey, I'm going to invite them and just see if they're interested because I know I had a conversation with them before. So that invite is not necessarily a follow-up, but then they can move into my follow-up list if they tell me not right now. So it kind of is like, hey, these people had a conversation. Will I follow up with them in my follow-up list? And that invite could look something like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that you're always invited to join my health and fitness community. And then, for example, if she's like a mom, I work with a lot of moms each day, and it's a really supportive community that helps you find a routine that fits into your busy life and leaves you feeling good and energized. Would this interest you? Would this benefit you? Whatever it is. But like, kind of open your arms up to invite them, and then hopefully you get a response. And then I would move them to my follow-up list. So I hope that made sense in a lot of words, but the main point is you've got to be writing those names down because you're not going to remember them. I mean, writing them down or flagging them or doing whatever your method is, because you're not going to remember them. And then it makes your job way, way easier because you can just grab a chunk, knock out 10 in like 5 minutes. how do you guys feel about follow-ups? Are they scary? Are you like, is it something that this conversation is helping you with? Do you just not like doing them? Any
I forget about
comments?
them, honestly. I really do. Sometimes it does scare me, depending on what it is, but I honestly, it's mainly forgetting, which I hate. I'm a blonde and from real life, as my parents say. But um, I wished I had a better system. I don't have any kind of system at all. Writing down or even like flagging on Instagram, I don't do either. So I need to like hone in on trying to figure out one for me. But I don't know.
I think that would really help. And maybe, I don't know if you're like more into the computer, clean cut spreadsheet, like for Excel. I just put it in the notes of my phone, so I can always have it. I also have paper lists that get a little messy, so I like the notes in my phone, but I definitely think that would help make it easier for you to do it. So like on your tracker, if you're like, oh, follow-up time, you know exactly where to go. It takes the brain, like, you don't have to think about it. It's like, this is my follow-up list, I'm gonna follow up. But yeah, I think that would be a really good action to take. Figure out what works for you, and you can always change it if you're like,
Oh, yeah.
that's kind of awkward.
I think this call was really helpful. For me, like I hesitate to follow up if I've kind of followed up more than twice because I don't want to feel like I'm bothering them. But Abby, you literally followed up with me probably for a year, and I was kind of like doing it halfway, and then all of a sudden one day I was like, hey, I want to coach. So I know that, I've seen the result of follow-ups because it's been helpful, and I did appreciate every single time that you reached out to me. But I guess just like that fear of me annoying people, because I never felt annoyed by you, but like I just feel like in my head about people would think I'm annoying. So that's probably what it is. And then just making the time in the evening after I come home from work and after I get my workout done, and fitting that into my day, and also trying to relax at the end of the day, fit in family time and all that. So just trying to make it a priority.
Yeah, and I think even just taking that step and say, hey, I'm going to do 3 follow-ups each night. And it's kind of funny because we put something off that's so simple, but it takes like 5 minutes, because I catch myself doing that. I'm like, I'm just going to go to bed. It's too hard. And then I'm like, it takes 3 seconds to follow 3 people. Follow. Like, that's what I always do late at night before bed. So yeah, I think even setting that goal for yourself and setting a number really helps me, versus being like, I have to follow up with everyone from June. Like, it gets overwhelming once you have your list created. But yeah, if you're like, hey, I'm going to follow up with 3 people. And to your point, I think it's normal for us to feel like we're annoying, but I think just knowing that you're trying to help and it's changed your life and you're really offering them something, kind of, I know they say before you start your working hour, like, get in that right mindset, play that music that you like, or just like get yourself in a good, happy place. I think they say like, sit up tall, feel confident, smile, and then send these follow-ups, because I think then you'd feel like, and it sounds kind of goofy, like thinking about it, but I think it works, because then you're like, oh, I want to send this because I know it can help them. But if you're like, oh, I'm so annoying, I don't want to send this, like, it's all your mindset and your mood about it. So yeah, I think that's awesome. I think you can definitely find time to even do a few every night or 5 days a week or whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Another form of tracking that we've talked about before, I personally can't get the hang of it, but it is a tool available if it fits your working style, is in the daily activity tracker under the follow and connections. There's literally a space to type in the connections that you're making, their Instagram handle, their phone number, however you connect with them, and then it reminds you in however long to reach back out to them. So it's a great tool. I just personally can't be consistent in using it, but that's not to say that it doesn't work for somebody else.
Yes, thank you for that reminder. That is all I had, unless anyone has any final comments or thoughts that they wanted to share with the group. Okay, so I think the key takeaways are really, we want you guys to take action. We want you guys to know, yes, this is our tracker, these are our daily activities, but actually take action on them. And I hope this gave you tips and tricks that you can try, even if you take one thing from this call and do it, it's going to benefit your business. And this business is consistency each day over time. That's going to pay off. So I really think just making those smaller goals so you're not overwhelming yourself and just taking that next step. And then you can add more to it and more to it and more to it. And you'll start feeling more comfortable taking these actions and you're going to do awesome. And like always, just be yourself, have the energy, have the heart, and just talk to them like they're a human being and see if you can help them. And that's what this business is all about. So a lot of this is mindset, and I know you guys can do it, and I know you believe in what we do just from hearing your introductions, and it's worth it. You can change your life. Maybe that's what you think about every time you go sit down and do your work. All right. I am done rambling, and I love seeing all your faces and hearing all your introductions, and I will post this recording tomorrow for people who couldn't make it, but I hope you have a wonderful night, and thank you for calling in. I'll see you guys later.
Good night.
Good night.
See you guys later.